pretty much what it is you know how we sometimes think of, like, say, one person that we really like, right? Like, you know what? I hope
like
that
my wife.
Exactly.
All right,
right?
there you go.
I hope she's really healthy. You know, I hope she has a good day. I hope she's, doing really well, and she's free from stress, right? Now, what loving kindness meditation does, it brings that to a bigger scope, right? So first, when you start loving kindness meditation, you sit down, you relax, right? First they say is you always spread loving kindness to yourself, right?
Okay.
So you just think to yourself, may I be free from suffering, free from ill will, free from any kind of mental and physical stress, right? Now you're saying this to yourself, right? The next step is you take somebody that's close to your heart. So your wife, your kids, if you have any family. So you imagine them, right? In your heart, in your head, and you just put positive energy, just think about them very positively, hope they're free of stress, free of any mental, physical suffering. They're just happy, right? The third is some people who are neutral. You may not know them, you might know them, acquaintances that you meet on a daily basis.
Okay.
Like, say, me and him.
So it's kind of an expanding meditation.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Now the last part is the hardest, where you need to think the same thoughts with somebody you don't really like or get along to, right? Now the whole idea is taking that whole anger out of you by focusing on that person. You know what? This person might have done a lot of wrong to me. We might not get along, but I'm going to be the bigger person, and I'm going to wish them well, right? So now that's one aspect of it, right? That's the more personal aspect that I kind of connect with, that a lot of people tend to connect with, right? Okay. So now how you do it, it's pretty simple. It's guided initially if you're a newcomer to it. So you would sit down and somebody would chant those lines, and you say it in your head. But once you get a little bit more focused, you can say all those in your head, and you kind of repeat it over and over
on
again.
your own.
On your own, exactly, right? So meditation in that aspect, it focuses your mind on that one topic, which is just spreading wholesomeness, keeps you calm, make you more like sympathetic to people's needs, in the sense that, you feel sorry for people a lot faster. You don't have a lot of hatred in you because, in my personal experience, like, some people that I didn't really get along too well with, which I don't associate anymore. I tried it, and you know what? Not that I love them right now, right? But it doesn't bug me anymore.
You can tolerate them.
Of course, your tolerance level just tends to go up, right? But there's always things that affect the meditation, right? So the most common problem is you sit down, you close your eyes, and you try to think these things, but your mind just ping pongs all over the place. You're thinking about what you're gonna have for your next meal. Sure. How am I gonna get home? So the challenge is okay, my mind's wandering, let me get back to the focus of my meditation, right? So that way you make yourself more focused. It helps in your daily life, right?
So how long have you been involved with this?
I was born a Buddhist.
Okay.
So I'm 32 years old now.
Okay.
I've been involved with meditation and Buddhism in depth, I would say, for the last year. Okay. Not too long. Right?
So you were born, you were raised Buddhist,
born and raised,
kind of your cultural heritage?
Exactly. That was just it, just a cultural thing. Okay. I was Buddhist by name, right? I knew things here and there, but I never really dug into it, right?
Now, in your understanding, is there a God that you are communicating with, or are you more or less atheist? Or something in between?
Here's the thing. We don't have a one higher supreme being.
Okay.
Right? We believe in, we believe in heaven, we believe in hell. Right? Okay. We believe in those two for sure.
What would you define that as?
What do you mean? Like,
well, when we use a term like heaven or hell, it can be ambiguous if it's undefined.
Yeah.
I mean, for some, heaven might be just a really great buffet.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So heaven for us, for example.
For others, it's a location. Where others will be dwelling that we will physically know.
That's pretty much our connection. So heaven for us is another, you would say, like another dimension, for example.
Another dimension,
right?
Okay.
Like heavenly beings, angels, we believe in them, right?
Okay.
We call them deities, right? Which you guys call angels, right?
Okay.
But we don't believe in a creator God. We believe in pretty much the focus when it comes to meditation Buddhism is ourselves, right? We tend to depend on ourselves to correct ourselves, right? And we believe in gods in the sense that deities, angels, we call them gods, but not like a creator god, right?
So just the superior beings.
Superior beings, yeah. More higher intellect than us.
More advanced.
Exactly.
Okay.
More advanced, right?
But
And
you're
hell-
auto-correcting, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then
I like that autocorrect.
that's a good.
I
That's
have
a
it on
good
my
term,
phone,
yeah. And then hell, pretty much is the same thing. It's another dimension, like a hell realm, right? With demons and like any other.
You consider the demons, and let's say if there were such, if you consider those, or do you accept those as being other types of deities as well? Or
No, deities we only refer to the heavenly beings,
the good
right?
ones.
Yeah, the yakas we call it.
Okay.
So now we do believe in like
They are kind of yucca. I like that term.
yakas, yeah.
But,
yakas is the traditional term we use for like demons, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's a Pali word for demons, right?
Okay.
And
So,
what would you consider those to be in what category? Just totally different character?
Yeah, it's another dimension, like which is the
Also,
hell realm.
okay.
It kind of, to be honest, it kind of goes along with the mainstream religions in that aspect.
Okay.
Whether it be Christianity or Islam, where there's, like you said, there might be a different, for a different person, it might be different. But again, it's two
Well,
dimensions.
that's why I ask definitions, because otherwise we end up
exactly.
not
We're-
actually communicating.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
might
We'll be
use
on
the
the same
same
page.
words and we go, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we walk away and go,
What did he
mean
say?
by
Yeah, what did he mean by that?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we.
I mean, here's the story, and he knows the story. I use the story a lot.
Yeah.
When I was young, before I married, I met this gorgeous young lady, and ended up marrying her. But before we married, one day she said to me, "Do you want to go shopping?"
Yeah.
And I was young and foolish, and I didn't know that I should ask what you mean by that. I didn't know. And so I said yes.
Yeah.
And to me, it was going to be an 18-minute adventure. We're going to get in the car, we're going to drive to the DC
In and out,
place,
yeah,
we're going to buy a
yeah.
blouse. we're gonna
Yeah,
do, 20 minutes tops.
yeah.
And we got there, and got out of the car and walked in, and then she's wandering around, and we're talking, and then she wanted to have a Coke, and I'm going,
Okay,
now
what time is
45
it?
minutes now.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I didn't realize is she didn't mean shopping, she meant shopping.
Yeah.
So now I say, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And you say,
Yeah.
heaven or hell.
It's
I want to
correct,
know how you're
100%.
defining those
Yeah.
things.
Right.
And now have you been in? You were born into.
I was born an atheist.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, actually, I don't know if I was born an atheist because I was too young to know any better. But
Yeah.
I was an atheist by my father's example.
I see. So
Who was?
Yeah.
He asserted there was no God, and he did so because it benefited the way he wanted to live.
I see.
Right?
I see.
He could do anything he wants because there is no ultimate payment for how he lives.
There's no repercussion.
Nothing.
I see.
You live, you
I
die,
see, yeah.
that's it. You die like a dog, you cease to exist.
Yeah.
So that's one. Two, Darwinism became the prevalent idea of origins
Yeah.
by the time I could understand those sorts of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So if Darwinism is true,
Yeah.
then God is just simply unnecessary,
Yeah.
right? Because in the beginning it was nothing, boom, and it just exploded into everything.
Yeah.
Now, they don't have any evidence for that. It doesn't make rational sense.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
who has physically raised himself because he is not a sinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is fully human and fully God.
Yeah.
And she recommitted her life to that and then said, I'm married to an atheist. What do I do now?
What a dilemma, right?
What a problem.
Yeah. So, would you read some material? She said. Now, we had dated 3 years. We were married 3 years. Now we're 6 years together.
Yeah.
The one thing I learned is this.
Yeah.
If my wife Joy wants something really badly,
Yeah.
it's easier to just give in early because she's going to get it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is that the reason why you?
No.
Okay.
I said I will read
Yeah.
the material.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I had not really met any Christians who could give a reasoned argument for why they believe what they believe. They believed it because they were raised in it,
Yeah.
kind of like you with Buddhism.
Yeah.
They believed it because their pastor said it was true.
Yeah.
They believed it because it sounded right.
Yeah.
None of that is evidence.
No.
Right?
It's just
All of that feels maybe okay.
Yeah.
So as I started reading the material, what I realized is several things. One
Yeah.
is the explanation that everything came from nothing, by nothing, and for no apparent reason didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Which then led me to say, well, something exists that brought it into existence.
The creator.
A creator,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Now I want to know who that is?
Yeah.
So I realized I couldn't be honest and an atheist, but I could be an agnostic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
That kind of works.
Yeah, it kind of works. Yeah, it kind of.
It's not claiming to know anything. And
Yeah.
And there's two kinds of agnostics. There's an honorary agnostic and an ordinary agnostic.
Okay. Yeah.
Honorary agnostic says, I don't know if God exists and you don't either, so leave me alone.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like that, okay, that worked okay for me for a while.
Yeah.
But I had a problem because I really like to know why.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big question for me.
Yeah, the question. Yeah.
Right? That's part of the reason why we're here. I want to know why.
Yeah.
And so I became an ordinary agnostic. I don't know if God exists, but I'm open to information.
Okay, all right.
Right? So as I did a little more research and reading and asking questions, I discovered that the scriptures that we know as the Bible are fundamentally accurate to what was originally penned. Okay?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean inspired, it just means accurate. Because I can trust what's there was originally said.
By Jesus himself.
Or prior to that, by the prophets.
Okay, all right.
As recorded by the prophets. As what Jesus said as recorded by the gospel writers. What the apostles said in their letters to the churches.
I see.
Is fundamentally accurate.
Okay.
But how do I deal with the whole inspiration thing? Well, I had this kind of odd event happen in my life, let's say.
Yeah.
Jesus made two radical claims. One is he claimed to be God.
Yes.
Fully God and fully man, right? Which is the reason the Jews wanted him crucified. Because it was blasphemy to claim to be God. And he claimed to be fully human. So he wasn't half and half or something. He was fully human and fully God. Everything that makes you human and he was. Everything that makes you God, he was. And nobody else is, according to him. Then he said, I'm going to be killed. You're going to crucify me. And I'm going to raise myself from the dead. That's a pretty profound statement.
Yeah, that's a pretty big, bold statement.
An old statement.
Yeah.
And then he did. And we have really good evidence that he did that, strong back evidence. So I thought, this is interesting. He said the Word of God is inspired. I mean, he affirmed Adam and Eve, Noah, all of that as being true. He affirmed that he's the creator, not anything else. And since he believed the scriptures were inspired, I thought, if a guy raises himself from the dead, I probably got to listen to him.
That was kind of like a moment that you had.
It was huge.
It was like a...
So at that point, I became Christian. So I called on the name of the Lord for salvation. And I was saved immediately.
And that was the day that
all of that changed. Well, then I became interested in other religions. Why do those who claim to be Christian, for example, Jehovah's Witnesses, but are not actually Christian, how do they come to their views?
Why is there a difference?
Yeah, because there are huge differences. They
Even though it's like, Jesus and God,
but their terminology
now
is the same. It's now defining differently.
Definitions.
Yes.
Because for them they go, yes, we believe in Jesus, but what does that mean? For Jehovah's Witnesses, it means he was created as Michael the Archangel. He didn't always exist. He then ceased to exist and was recreated as Jesus, a human, and only a human.
Not
God.
Okay.
Not an archangel, just a human. And then he was crucified and died, not resurrected.
Oh, he just passed.
Not resurrected. He was recreated as Michael the Archangel.
Back in heaven.
And he's Michael the Archangel.
Back to his original.
So they were like, he had two forms pretty much. Three forms.
Three, there's three of them. There's Michael, ceased to exist. Jesus, ceased to exist.
And a new version, Michael 2.0.
Oh, I see.
And I go, okay, well that's very different than what we're reading in Scripture. So they're not Christians because they deny the fundamental doctrines of the faith. Nice people.
I've met a couple of them.
Nice people.
Yeah, they are.
But fundamentally, they will not have eternal life because what gets you eternal life is calling on the name of the Lord as God. Right? Recognizing he paid for our sins, past, present, and future, so that nothing can be held to my account. Those who do not call on his name will be eternally separated from God.
I see.
Right?
I see.
That's just classic biblical faith. Jehovah's Witnesses did not.
I see. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I watch a lot of History Channel, right?
Yeah.
One thing I remember is the discovery of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, right? The Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Which claim to be gospels that didn't make it. No, I don't know anything. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That
question.
didn't make it into the Bible, right?
Right.
Then I did a little bit of reading because I was curious, and I came across this thing called the Conference of Nicaea.
Yes.
Where
325.
It's 325, where they're like, this was a couple hundred years after the death of Christ, is it?
Well, 325 would be 4th century, early 4th century.
4th century, where, correct me if I'm wrong, and now this is just a documentary, right?
Sure.
So I don't know how, documentaries are not that accurate, first of all.
Not always.
Right? Not always.
They're not.
Not always.
Which is why you want to go to the source.
But exactly, you're right here. They said that Conference of Nicaea, they're like, okay, you know what, enough is enough. Let's just get the book. Apparently there were like a couple of hundred versions of the Bible floating around at the time. Right? Or like different gospels,
not
different books.
really versions of the Bible, but different documents that claimed to be biblical.
Claimed to be biblical. So they narrowed it down pretty much, and they made the Bible.
Now here, right. So here's the answer to the question.
Yeah.
First question is the Gospel of Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
There's several works that were written in 2nd, 3rd, 4th century.
Yeah.
That are referred to as Gnostic Gospels. Gnostics were a group that were not Christian, but liked kind of the Christian idea.
I see.
Their view was matter is evil.
Matter is okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Only spirit is good.
I see.
And their concept was you have the essential God, the main God,
The divine.
who emanated other gods and goddesses from himself, called demiurges.
Okay.
Who emanated other gods and goddesses from themselves, sort of created clubs called decads and duodecads, so they had little clubs of gods.
Yeah.
And the creation that we have came about because Sophia, the goddess, cried, which became water, and her depression created matter. That's why matter is evil.
I see. I see.
And so, in their view, God could not incarnate in human form because that means taking on evil, and God cannot become evil.
Oh, I see. I get what you're saying.
Right. So they imagined all these writings, and they were not accepted. The reason they were not accepted, which is how the canon came about, is in order to be accepted, the document had to be written by an apostle or someone who worked closely with an apostle.
Okay.
So nothing after 100 AD is acceptable.
So they went through a process of filter of making sure it's legitimate.
Right. Was trustworthy? Who do we know is reliable? Not what does it say?
I see.
Who
is
the originator?
The source.
I see. All right.
The Hebrew scriptures were already in place. Nation of Israel, that's what we call the Old Testament, already had those in place. The church did not assemble them.
Okay.
They just included them.
I see.
Because the nation of Israel, that was their job.
That was their job.
Right?
Yeah.
So Genesis through Malachi, that's all nation of Israel stuff.
Yeah.
Matthew to maps, I say.
Yeah. Matthew to maps.
Right? Yeah. To the end of Revelation, that's all church stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was collected and collated. It was put together in one binding based on who wrote it, apostle or someone who worked closely with them.
Okay.
That was the basis. Now, Nicaea wasn't for that purpose. Nicaea was something else.
Now, what was Nicaea then?
All right, Council of Nicaea is 325 AD. Very important council.
Yeah.
Because you had a guy by the name of Arius, who was a bishop, who rose up and said, Jesus wasn't really God. No, he was creator.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds
and
familiar.
So it created sort of, because now for 400 years, two things are going on.
Yeah.
The Gnostics are denying the humanity of Christ.
Okay.
And so the church is writing against those claims.
Yeah.
So you have like Irenaeus against heresy, for example.
Okay.
Lots of writings, early church fathers, on this issue. They didn't give a big defense for his deity because they all believe that.
I see.
So there's no reason to defend it.
Yeah.
Now, 400 years into church history, you got a guy who's going, I don't really think it was God.
Okay. Okay.
So now the church assembles. There's what they call 5 C's of power.
Okay.
Rome is one. Turkey is one. They had Africa. They had one in Africa.
Yeah.
The main bishops of the church. So they brought the bishops together under Constantine in 325 to hammer out this issue because it was dividing the church.
Oh, okay, all right. Because it's getting an issue. Like we have to figure it out before it becomes a big problem.
Well, we have to figure out how to defend it and how to deal with this heretic.
This one person who was saved.
Arius and his followers.
Oh, he had a following.
Yeah.
He had followers, and
Yeah.
Constantine, frankly, leaned kind of in Arius'
Towards his
direction.
yeah. Wow, okay.
Yeah, he was kind of in that direction. So they haggled over this. In fact, it is said, Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, he was a bishop at that time.
Well, yeah.
He really was.
St. Nicholas?
And it is said,
yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but it is said that
Yeah.
Bishop Nicholas
Yeah.
went over and slapped Arius in the face and told him to repent.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it's
Could be folklore. I
It's
don't
just,
know.
yeah,
Could
exactly,
be.
exactly.
We don't
It's
know.
kind of fun, but it would be
yeah.
something that they might do because
Right,
they were
it's possible.
quite,
Yeah.
engaged in their debates.
Okay, I see.
And so that's what that was about, and
I
that
see.
was settled then in 325. And then as you read church history, what you find is now you have this whole era of defense of the deity of Christ and doctrine of the Trinity.
I see.
Not that they didn't believe it before, but it was never attacked before.
I see.
And
So
so
made it stronger, pretty much. Like,
it is, yes.
yeah.
What you have is you kind of first start following from our perspective
Yeah.
creeds, church creeds.
Yeah.
First one is very simple,
Yeah.
apostolic creed, very short, very simple
Yeah.
statement of belief.
Yeah.
Each creed gets longer,
I see.
and by the time you get to what's called the Athanasian Creed, this would be 5th century,
Yeah.
like 4th century, is very long and detailed because it says, we believe, and by this we mean. Now we're into definitions.
Yeah. Oh.
They defined it.
Define it, explain it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, because the false teachers were co-opting the language. They
I
would
see.
say, okay, we believe he's God, and then they would redefine it.
Yeah.
That's why I ask, okay, what do you mean by heaven?
Right.
What's the definition?
That's
Otherwise
important.
you're not
It's
Yes,
very important.
very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the Gnostic Gospels.
I see.
That's how
How
the
the-
Canon of Scripture came to be, and that's what was going on in Nicaea, and they've had other councils since that time. So
I
there
see.
were several councils.
And there haven't been any kind of revisions or anything after that, right? It was pretty much,
No.
that's it.
No, in fact, what we do is we find more documents and more documents to
Oh, to support,
substantiate what
The original.
It was written in Latin first?
No.
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 It was written in Greek, Aramaic, and Hebrew. Old Testament's Hebrew.
Okay.
In
New
Aramaic.
Testament's Greek and Aramaic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly Greek,
Yeah.
because the Rome
Yeah.
was the overseer of the empire at the time.
I see.
And so, like English today is sort of the common language of currency.
Yeah.
Greek was the common language of the empire.
I see. Okay.
And
Even though
they-
it was Roman
Right,
rule.
they
Okay.
wrote in Greek
It's
In
clear,
Greek.
Yeah.
to reach all the common people because everyone could read Greek, regardless of what country you came from.
Yeah.
And so it was originally written in Greek,
Yeah.
and then we translated it to Latin.
Okay.
Then the printing press was invented in 1500s.
Yeah.
Gutenberg was in fact he invented it to print the Bible.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so it was written. It was translated then from Greek, not from Latin.
Greek to English.
Greek to German and English and whatever language. So
Yeah.
they don't go to the Latin, which was translated from the Greek. They go back to the Greek,
Yeah.
Which was the original language.
right? So you're
Which
not
was the
translating
original,
from a
yeah.
translation. You're going back to original documents.
Okay. So there's nothing you could say that, oh, it's misinterpreted in a different way because of language constraints. No, because you go into the source.
Going back to the Greek.
Yeah. Now, you can, now talking about changes in languages and
Yeah.
maybe some type, there are some that can maybe bring it to the common language so that people nowadays can kind of understand, it. But it's the same meaning.
Yeah,
As long
okay.
as the meaning is not changed.
Yeah.
Because you could say things in many ways and mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
and
in a
even
sense.
language changes. Because
Language,
changes
yeah.
with usage. So, for example,
yeah.
the King James
Yeah.
was done in 1611.
Yeah.
You have a phrase in Thessalonians that says, "Those of us who are alive and remain will not prevent those who have gone ahead."
I see.
Now, in 1611,
Yeah.
prevent meant to go before.
Oh.
Today, it means to stop.
Oh,
They
I
changed
see.
the meaning
so
a little
they
bit.
changed. I see.
Right. So
Yeah.
newer translations take that into consideration because
Yeah.
they're going to the Greek to say, okay, in Greek this is what he's saying. How do we communicate that in English?
I see.
Or any other language.
Also, there sometimes are not words in the language you're translating into that
Yeah.
exactly correspond.
Yeah.
So you
Exact
have to
direct
find something
translations are not
close to it.
available sometimes.
I see.
So you-
So
Those are the only variants that you could say.
Okay.
But they're still within the meaning
Within
of
the context of
the
what
original.
the
what was already written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So the big questions that come into play then is if the Bible's reliable, if Jesus is who he claimed to be, if the resurrection is true, and we then have a choice, and here's the choice. You keep hearing here that all roads lead to God. I would say that's true. But here's the big but.
Sorry?
There's a big
but.
Okay.
I mean, not just I did.
You knew where you were going.
But that isn't the end of the conversation.
Okay.
Because there's a meeting that takes place there.
At
when we meet God.
All
paths lead to God. That's true.
Yeah.
But what happens at that meeting is really important. Because if we have accepted Christ as our personal Savior, we will be with God eternally. If we have not accepted Christ as our Savior, we will be separated from God eternally.
Eternally,
So there's a crossroads.
That's the crossroads. So Paul says that every knee will bend and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Yahweh, is Lord, is God. The question is, do we do that in this life and receive salvation, or we do that in that life as an admission and be eternally rejected?
Right. So it's 2 choices.
Eternally rejected.
Yes.
Eternally rejected.
That's it.
That's it. You're done.
That's it. You had your chance, you rejected it.
You go to hell.
Right. Well, eternal separation
Is basically what it.
there's people misunderstand hell. You are eternally separated from God. Hell will be cast into
The lake of fire.
the lake of fire.
Okay.
So yes,
Separate.
you will be eternally in hell, which will be cast in the lake of fire.
I see.
To me, it doesn't play so much as the absence of God. Because if we think about it, why is life worth living?
Everyone asks that.
Because you have the ability to meditate. Right? You have warmth. You have love. You have food. You have friends. You have the ability to be comforted. All of that because of God's general grace. What happens when you're now
Outside of it.
separated from God completely? You have no love. You have no light. You have no possibility of comfort. You have no food. You have everything is just painful.
Suffering.
Eternally. Reflecting on all of the things that you have done that have brought you to this place. And no matter how much meditation you will do on it,
it's too late.
Not
Yeah. Once you're out of the body, you're
So let me ask you this different kind of question.
Sure.
So you know, we have faith in our religion. So you read the Bible, I read.
Buddha, right?
This is one of our books that we read. It's called
Discourses.
So these are the suttas. This is from the word of the Buddha, right? Now we live in a society today where it's very evidence-based, right? In the sense that, you know, if they can't see proof, physical proof, they're like, oh, you guys are
whatever.
whatever.
I hear
So
you.
if I was one of those people that come to you and say, sir, I know, you know, and I will get that question too, right? Is there one thing you can say right now in the present that you can show me the existence of Jesus, for example, or like the word of Jesus, or like what makes your religion true, right? How would you answer that? Like, what can you point
Without
to?
evidence?
Sorry?
Without evidence?
With evidence, like for example, like right now.
The resurrection.
I see. So that's where you go.
All of Christianity stands or falls on the resurrection.
Yeah, that's the
Everything
crux of it.
else supports it,
I see.
but all of Christianity
Based on the
stands or falls on one event.
That's it.
which is the resurrection. Because of the resurrection, then all those stories are like true. Like it kind of like supports.
Well, they are historical stories about a historical event. That's what makes them true.
Right?
So it'd be no different than
Like this
you're
moment.
from Canada, but
Yeah.
you know we're from the U.S. and we had this really interesting political debate in the late 1800s called the Civil War. Right. And one of our presidents was asked to leave office in some interesting circumstances. They assassinated him in Ford Theater, right?
Right in the head, right there.
That is a historical event.
Yeah.
There's a lot of material about that historical event
That people written down.
that supports the event as it happened.
Play by play, pretty much.
Play by play. Including the exact time that he passed away. So, and here's a little side story about that. My grandson has this great memory for numbers. Had been to a Lincoln Memorial thing. And he was maybe 9 or 10 at the time.
Oh, wow.
So he's in school, and they were talking about the assassination. And the teacher said that he died on such and such a day. And my grandson goes, no, he died on this day, which is the next day. At 2:18 a.m. or whatever.
He said it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and she was arguing with him.
All right.
And she goes, no, it's absolutely.
Yeah.
And so during lunch, she went and looked it up, and guess what?
He was right.
He had the evidence to support his claim. That it had nothing to do with how he felt about it.
Meditation, right? When you get into it, right? So meditation for us is focus on a specific topic, calmness of mind. Do you do like when you pray, for example? Would you consider that a sort of meditation where you're focusing on praying to Jesus? Or,
no, I don't. But we do advocate for meditation in a particular way.
Yeah.
Which is it says to meditate on the Word of God.
I see. So one specific thing that you...
Yeah, we're meditating on the Word of God.
Yeah.
Prayer is a combination of really four things.
Yeah.
It is our time to come before the Creator and the one who saved us.
Yeah.
The one who gave his life to redeem us.
Yeah.
To spend time meditating on who he is.
Okay,
so it's adoration.
Okay.
Adoration. Adoration. The second thing is confession. If I have some kind of issue going on that's separating me from God or someone else, to confess it. Not because I won't be forgiven, but it's kind of like someone asked me this yesterday. I'm married 48 years now, same woman. Dated her for 3 years before that. We've been together 51 years. Okay. I might do something that will violate her.
Yeah.
And hurt her feelings maybe, and create a tension in our relationship.
Yeah.
But I'm going to still be married.
Of course.
I don't lose a marriage over it.
Yeah.
So it isn't something that costs me my marriage, but it costs me a little bit of the relationship.
I see.
So if I can make that right, we will have a better relationship. It's not her that's the problem, it's me.
Yeah.
Same thing with God. That's why confession. So adoration, confession, thanksgiving. What has God done for me and others around me?
Yeah.
So I am reminded that it's not me. It's not about me. It's about him and what he does.
Yeah.
And then supplication would be going to God on behalf of myself and others for things that we need. So-and-so is out of a job. So-and-so is sick. Can you heal them? So-and-so is lonely. Bring someone into the life. And so that's what prayer is about.
I see.
So 4 aspects of it.
That's awesome. Now, I know you guys been walking around kind of.
Yeah.
Do you, now someone just told me in the flyer there's 200 religions.
220.
220.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was 220 religions, to be honest,
yes,
right?
There are,
So when you look at some of these booths that you go to, you, except for the Christian or Catholic ones, you somewhat see like similarities in your belief system and what they are preaching. Like, is there any kind of resemblance, or do you feel like, you know what, no, I think we're a little bit different from the rest of the
two-part answer to the question.
Yeah.
There are some similarities.
Yeah.
I would say there are some similarities for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
One is, if the creation account is true, we all have one set of parents, Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
From that, we have family traditions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So many of our desires and beliefs are going to extend from those family traditions, although they have changed as people move to different locations.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Yeah.
Two, the scripture tells us that God has written his law on our hearts. So we know the right thing to do.
Yeah.
We are just incapable of doing it. That's the key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When Jesus came, it's really cool. Rabbis, they took the law and they said, we know how we're going to keep it. We'll just make it harder.
Yeah.
Right? we're going to put a fence of protection around law so we don't break the law.
Yeah.
And by making it harder, they would say, we're keeping the law.
Yeah.
So Jesus comes along and goes, you've heard it say, there's thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say, if you look at a woman with lust in your eyes, you have committed the act.
Yeah.
What he's doing is this. He's saying, you haven't kept it.
Yeah.
The law is so high you can't get over it. It's so low you can't dig under it. It's so long you can't go around it.
Yeah.
It is so thick you can't get through it.
Yeah.
You can't keep it.
Yeah.
It is so holy you have no chance.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know the right thing to do. I know the right thing to do. You may think you're able to do it. I know I can't.
Yeah.
Jesus said, because you can't, because you are incapable, I, who can keep the law, will give my life
and will do it for you in your stead.
In your stead. And if you call on my name, that salvation I paid for, I'm going to give to you.
Yeah.
That's the gift.
Yeah. So yes, there are commonalities because of a common source. The divergences are way more important than many realize. We talked to a lady yesterday for quite a while, and she kept making the mistake of thinking that somehow she had to do certain kind of works to please God. So I kept saying, you can't do it.